Alright, hello and welcome to this third and final installment of the first math placement review video. So getting this just kind of arranged. So we're going to work on order of operations. Let's say I gave you 3 plus 2 times 5. Well, if I did this straight across, I'd have 3 plus 2, which is 6, times 5, which is 30. If I started with 2 times 5, two times 5 is 10, plus 3 is 13. Well, which one's right? And it turns out this one is going to be right. Why is that? Well, because we have a specific order that we have to do each step in. And that order is known as the order of operations. And this is the acronym we've come up with after all these years. P-E-M-D-A-S. PEMDAS. Parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract. So there's your order. And that's why, so we were supposed to start with the 2 times 5 up here to get the 10, then add 3 to get 13. So this is the order that you have to do all your steps in. So if you were given this, what order would you start with? Well, always start with parentheses. So 2 minus 1 is 1. Notice how I'm going to just rewrite everything else. Parentheses, done. Next step is exponents. Well, 3 squared is 9, so 1 plus 9 minus 4 divided by 2. There's no multiplying on this one, so that means I have to divide. Now, be careful. You've got to keep signs attached. That means it's not 4 divided by 2, it's negative 4 divided by 2. Which means it's 2, negative 2. Now I can add things together. 1 plus 9 is 10. I'm left with 8. So this is key, especially if you get something like this. -3 plus 5. Well, if I'm following PEMDAS, I have to do addition first. But that's not just a 3, that's a negative 3. So negative 3 plus 5 is 2. 11 plus 2, which is 13. If you don't keep the sign attached, you will not get the right answer. So you've got to keep your signs attached. Now, almost every single problem, especially on the math placement, but almost every single math problem, almost, not quite, can come down at some point to PEMDAS. So this is what I would recommend for you. If you're having difficulty remembering the order of operations for every single problem, write the word PEMDAS. Just like this. That way it's there in front of you and you can just always go back to it. Now, real quickly before we leave PEMDAS behind, 11 minus 3 plus 2 times 4. So I'm going to just separate these real quick. I've got 2 sets of parentheses. Where do I start? Sorry, this is just a spare one. Well, start at innermost parentheses. Which would be this here. So it'd be 11 minus 3 plus 8, which is going to be 11 minus 11, which is 0. Alright, so always start at your innermost set of parentheses if you have multiple ones. Okay, now we're going to move on to a couple of other topics related to order of operations. Let's talk about some special things with multiplication and addition. So mult and addition. Mult and add. Both of these have some special properties. One is called associative. Property. And both of these properties are kind of related to each other. Let's say we had A plus, in parentheses, B plus C. That actually is the same as A plus B, in parentheses, then adding C to it. And the same thing with multiplication. A times B times C is the same thing as A times B times C. As long as they're the same operation, like you say as addition, you say as multiplication, you can kind of rearrange those parentheses. So just as an example, 5 plus 3 plus 4 equals 5 plus 3 plus 4. 3 plus 4 is 7. Plus 5 is 12. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 and 4 is 12. Alright, so that's the associative property. The other property is called the commutative property. And the commutative property basically means that things can travel. A times B times C equals A times C times B. And the same thing with addition. A plus B plus C equals A plus C plus B. As long as I keep signs the same and stay at the same level at PEMDAS, so I stay at multiplication, I stay at addition, I can rearrange them. 5 times 3 times 4 equals 5 times 4 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 times 4 is 60. Well, 5 times 4 is 20, times 3 is also 60. Alright, so that's commutative and associative property. The final property that we want to go over for order of operations is what's called the distributive property. Distributive property, which is this. I have a number standing outside of parentheses and something going on inside. The distributive property says that this equals A times B plus A times C. So if I had 2 times 4 plus 3, this equals 2 times 4 plus 2 times 3, which is 8, plus 6, which is 14. And if I did it out this way, it'd be 2 times 7, which is the same thing as 14. Where distributive property is going to come into play mostly is when we talk about factoring. Okay, that's an evil word for some people. But here's what we're going to limit to for the purposes of this video. Let's say I gave you 6 plus 3 plus 9. There is a number that goes into all three of those that I could divide out, and that's 3. So I could rewrite this actually as 3 times 2 plus 1 plus 3. And I could always distribute back to get to this. 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 3 is 9. When we get to more in-depth factoring with polynomials, this is an important skill to have a mastery of. That's why I'm pulling it in here. So you should be able to do both. Distribute and factor out. So down here is called factoring. And that is the first set of videos for math placement. I will see you later with the second set, which is where we're going to talk about, I believe, ratios and percents and fractions. Yep, fractions, ratios, and percents are next. So I'll see you later.